It is the Link Show. Welcome and thank you very much for joining us. Absolutely wonderful to have you here. Exciting times, everybody. My name is Dougal. Welcome to the Link Show. As always, she's here. Rhoda, hello.
Hello, Dougal. Welcome, everybody, to the Link Show. And remember, this is a live interactive show. So very exciting. We'll be finding ourselves today. As you can see.
This is wonderful. I'm telling you, the Link Show is just absolutely amazing because in the Link Show, and what we do is, of course, we bring you everything Northlink, how Northlink is really pushing the envelope. And it really answers a very, very important question. This will be your tertiary institution of choice. Trust me, where we are today, we say this all the time. The proof is in the pudding. And oh boy, is the Link Show delivering today.
Definitely. And we're finding ourselves in Woodstock. So you know what, guys? Definitely, like Dougal says, the proof is in the pudding, and this year is actually a pudding bowl of bags and leather. And I'm telling you, it is fascinating. I'm so excited being here today. And you know what? If you ever had a dream and you wanted to achieve it, this is one of those dreams that was achieved. Definitely. And you know what? Because of Northlink.
Certainly of Northlink. So it's definitely the platform for you, of course, to launch everything, and that is what Northlink enables you to do, and that is exactly how Rhoda's put it. That is why we find ourselves here. So it's a very, very and super exciting show, and we're really looking forward. So if you're an educator, you're a parent right now, you're a prospective student, you're looking at this, of course, everything related to Northlink is what we discuss. Now, most importantly, as Rhoda said, it's an interactive show. So we look forward to your questions and comments, of course. So we've got amazing speakers coming on, giving you real insights into everything you would like to know. But of course, for everything you need to know, as always, you simply just visit the Northlink website. So you said we're sitting in Woodstock.
That's right, too. We're sitting in Woodstock. As you can see, it is a place with leather and bags, and it's about entrepreneurs. So you know, one of my favorite topics, entrepreneurs, and somehow that students at the end of the day can become entrepreneurs. You know, so that's very important for all of you to know out there that your dreams, you basically can become real. If you're an entrepreneur, this is the show for you.
It certainly is the show for you. So on our location today, we're at a wonderful business, of course, which we're going to delve into, which is called Coupe and Couture. And let me just tell you right now, you want to be sitting where we're sitting right now. This is where you want to be sitting. But today, that really covers our subject as well. So there's a specific reason we're sitting at this wonderful establishment, because also we're going to be talking to an alumni entrepreneur. So somebody who's been exactly where you were not that long ago. We were definitely going to be talking about it. But today our subject, as Rhoda alluded to, covers entrepreneurship. So we're really going to address the Entrepreneurship Advancement Center as well. That's right. What we're going to be talking about. So that's that little extra boost that Northlink. And when I say little extra, I'm really not paying it any justice there. Lots of extra boost and real guidance that you have with the skills that you've acquired for being a student and really going on your own feet and advancing and empowerment and really empowering everybody around you and actually becoming a business owner. This is what we're going to be talking about as well, and the assistance that Northlink offers and what this is all about. So hold on to your hats, because this is definitely going to be a fascinating show. Now, joining us as one of the speakers, of course, somebody who needs very little introduction, but has been on the Link Show before, and that is Nickay, who's joining us, who's also a principal business advisor. Welcome back, my dear. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. It's exciting to be here.
It's wonderful to have you here today, of course. Now, all I've done is just mention your name, and exactly, but we're going to talk Northlink Entrepreneurship Advancement Center, of course, and this is something that you know quite a bit about, and we really want you to paint the picture, of course, what students can look forward to and really define for us what it is, and also that boost that we talk about that student needs and potential entrepreneurs that they really need to excel and of course be equipped with all the tools. And this is really what we're going to cover with you as well. But you're a principal business advisor. Let me start off there. Let's start off there. And also with the Institute of Business Advisors South Africa, so you're registered with it.
That's correct. Yes.
And now you're with Northlink.
Yeah, I'm with Northlink. So yeah, many years ago when I left banking, that was one of the passions is to really get into the other side of not providing finance, but to help people so that they can better position themselves. And it took me 21 years to get to where I am today, you know, hustling. This was the first permanent job since 2001 when I started at Northlink in a permanent position in 2022.
Wow.
So it's one of those journeys that every day was a learning curve. So to be a business advisor is exciting.
No, it is really exciting. So there you have it. You see, when we say experts, of course, people who think through that out in the middle. Here you go. This is what you got, what you get. So let's talk about the Entrepreneurship Advancement Center, because this is really fascinating. This is really, and let me just first applaud and bow down and say, well done on everything that has been achieved so far. Can you share a bit about this Entrepreneurship Advancement Center and really define for us what is it all about?
Okay, so the Entrepreneurship Advancement Center is an initiative by Northlink where we want to establish a place from where entrepreneurship can be run, though it's not the function. The function is what we do, but that will create space for it. So it's busy being renovated and will become a place from where entrepreneurship will be run as such. And the entrepreneurship advancement as the function for Northlink, that is the important part. And it's also similar to the journey of an entrepreneur, is to do what you can with what you have where you are. And the rest of the things gets added as you proceed. And that is where we're living that in reality.
So there must have been obviously an idea to start this. What was behind this? Why did you guys start the center?
So in the master plan of Northlink College, that was part of that rollout as such. And so executive management went through the process and allocating or then identify a specific site that will serve that purpose. And and they're putting the money where the mouths are, and they're busy renovating it, and it will be a space that the next round when I'm back, it will be run from there, the show. I'm convinced.
Almost definitely.
So globally everything is under construction, but in terms of the program and what it offers, that's operational, that is running.
We already started and the function is operational. So in other words, what we're trying to do is to create an entrepreneurial culture within Northlink, so that our students become entrepreneurially minded or just focused and sensitized, so that they can actually think, well, this can be a real option.
Exactly.
So just to define it to students who are there, we're talking an Entrepreneurship Advancement Center. As a student of Northlink, you acquire the skills, you acquire the training, you get the certificate, you go through the whole process of this. And then, of course, we're constantly hearing, we need entrepreneurs. This is that extra little boost that is an option now for prospective students.
Yeah. So where do you go if you have, and you say, but okay, I'm considering this, but where do you go? And that is often a stumbling block for many entrepreneurs. And to have a facility available that can be accessed with very little effort, other than how to go on a whole research venture, is I think is fantastic. Is that in-house we have this facility and we have the function available. You just need to put up your hand.
I'm going to steal your line, because I think, as you can hear now clearly, Northlink is definitely putting their money where the mouth is. You can clearly, and this is really a catalyst. This is really just absolutely brilliant. But let me ask you this: how do you identify students for this program?
That is actually difficult. There's many ways that one can go about it, and there's ideals that you can do. At the moment, where we are, 2 years into the process is not long. If you think how long it takes to establish a business, and this is a new unit and it's a new function, so it takes time. Identifying students is to make students aware of it first. So we're trying to do our level best to get, when they go through their orientation sessions, to make them aware of the function. And through that, we then say, okay, so how do you get in contact with us? And the best way to get in contact with us is through your student support services at your campus. Speak to your SRC member. There's a entrepreneurial officer in each of the campuses on the SRC. So you can speak to them. you speak to your lecturer. So they know where to get hold of me. And and that is how we're trying to motivate it. In other ways is that people will see somebody that's doing something, a lecturer or a HOD, and say, but there's this student in my class. And then we make contact. That is one way to get through it. Yeah. And then the other big way that we identify students is through the annual inter-college competition with alumni makers.
Okay.
And that's a natural identification of students that say, I want to take part in this competition, and I register and I submit my entry, and there we have a database of people.
And obviously, there is a criteria to actually, for these students that's interested, the ones that's chosen?
At this stage, the criteria is very fluid. Okay. So if you put up your hand and say, I am interested, you've got my ears.
Oh, wow.
Because you can't say to somebody, but you qualify, you don't qualify. Yeah. Because even when we did the competition, I said to the students, there's only so many winners that can go through to a next round. But for the rest of you, the decision of a judge doesn't determine your future. You can still be as successful as you wish to be. It is how hard you push to make your dreams come true. So you've got my ears if you put up your hand.
Lovely.
I like that. So can you describe some of the programs and initiatives the college offers then to support entrepreneurs?
Okay, so when I get involved with an entrepreneur, the first thing that I try to ascertain is to say, is this an idea that they've thought about? So is it something that they've given enough, how can I say, thought to, in the sense of they really contemplating to start a business, or they have a business and they want to make it grow. So what we then do is go through a business model canvas. It is freeware that's available to business coaches and consultants like myself, and you go through certain aspects of it. So for instance, I even yesterday I spoke to somebody and said, what is your why? Why is it that you want to do this thing? Is there a dream behind it? Is there a vision behind it? And say, okay, if there is something like that, what is it that you wish to offer them, and to whom? So we start a conversation like that, and you go through all the building blocks of it. And that is one way to start the conversation and to get the thinking going, and maybe to get some more homework done before you go on. If a business person comes there, now I'm saying business person, there are students that's running businesses. If they come and they say, but I have a business, then you go through it and say, okay, so what does it look like? And then you say, okay, now let's plot the information on that business model canvas and say, what does it look like, and where do you feel you're struggling? And those are the things that we're currently doing. It's not where we're going to end. Obviously, there's much more to come, but it's developmental. And just like a business develops, that's how we do it.
And I was just going to say now, obviously you're finding yourself as well with entrepreneurs and students do all different categories as well. How do you then create programs, or your intention to actually then accommodate, like say you see a trend, okay, this is trending now. Then how do you go about assisting those new entrepreneurs? Is there a program, or?
There's not a specific program, because a program lends itself to you have to go from A, B, C, D, E, and every person's journey is different.
Exactly.
And then it comes to the point and say, I can't live in this dream world that I can be everything to everybody. So there's, for instance, currently we're working with somebody that wants to start an animation movie.
Oh, wow.
I know nothing about that.
I was going to say.
So what do we do? So now you start to do research, and you say, okay, so how do you line that person up with the right people that can take that person and their business idea forward? If you need to introduce them to a different business advisor or to any of the government institutions like the Small Enterprise Development Agency, then I need to do that, because it's about what happens with this person and their business idea. And so are we working on programs? Definitely so. So we're busy in the process of registering a skills program, the New Venture Creation Skills Program. So we want to offer that to students. Yes, we're working with alumni makers with their entrepreneurial mindset. We've got trained facilitators in the college, and we're busy in the process of rolling out that program to students. And it's not curriculum driven, it's about the entrepreneurial mindset, making them aware, building them up. And there are other programs that we wish to offer in the near future. but it's funding permitted.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I'm glad you
What's the
answered that way, because I was going to ask you, you know, in terms of the role of entrepreneur, things are very fluid. It changes.
Yeah.
I mean, the conversations we have now never
yeah.
existed prior to COVID. You know, and how business has evolved and how we function today as a society. So all of this. So the kind of resources and support that the college would provide there to entrepreneurs, are they different? Because at different stages, the requirements are going to be different.
Definitely so. So the whole idea is when you start with ideation, is that you can sensitize the person to you can say the factors that's associated with ideation, that it is a viable idea that you have, that the necessary research is done. When it comes to establishing a business, now a business needs to be registered. And now again, do I register the business for you, or do I guide you to register the business yourself? For instance, one person was so ready to register the business, I referred them to their preferred bank and they assisted them through the process. Now I'm working with the person afterwards, but they assisted them through that process. So it's not a resource that we necessarily pay for you or we give you money to do anything. It is the guidance that is given to the entrepreneur and linking them up into the ecosystem that is already available. And it's to tap into that ecosystem, I think, is critically important because it's there. You just need to get pull all the ropes together to make it work.
Because this is really fascinating, because I think many a student from anywhere, you know, everybody would want to say, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to own a business, I want to start a business, I want to contribute in some other way, and whatever it is, and it is so important that you get this advancement center in order to assist you with that. Now, would there be a difference, and I'm just throwing a little sideways question here, would there be a difference between that and what you're currently offering in, let's say, incubation?
There is a difference, because the Advancement Center would be there to give you the guidance and what is the next step. Once the incubation is necessary, a person needs to be brought into an incubation center where they have the ability then to produce whilst they're building the business, that they receive mentoring through that process, and that they, all the T's must be crossed and the I's must be dotted. Is the finances sorted? You know, are your books up to date? Is your tax clearance done? And you help them through that process and take them through a number of cycles of trading in incubation, building them up step by step, because it's difficult to start a business. And incubation helps in that process until you are financially viable enough that you actually can go on your own.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to find out, because obviously entrepreneurs is from all walks of life, wherever, you know, so is your resources and your facility, will it be available for, say, students that's obviously in areas that is a bit more difficult, obviously, to get these resources?
It will be available. So we are in the community for the community. And the whole idea with entrepreneurial development is to make it available for everybody. And that is very important. Again, if you have limitations to yourself, so for instance, a person will come to me and say, but listen, I'm not done with my course, I'm qualified, I'm moving back to where I come from. Is to say, but okay, are there any support structures available to you? So is there maybe a college closer to you? You might move to another province for that matter. Is there a college closer to you? Who's the person at that college that's working with entrepreneurs? And then link them to that. And I had to do that in the past. People that went back to the Eastern Cape to refer them to a college that's got a center for entrepreneurship, and let them guide them further. Because at the end of the day, it's not what I do, it's what you are able to achieve and what you can establish in the market space.
So the support would then extend beyond the completion of the course?
Yes, for sure. We work with the alumni. I work currently with alumni, and I work with people that's never been to Northlink, because they approached me. For 21 years I was out there. So some of them still have my name. So if they come to me, the college now offers that. So it's not Nickay per se, but it's that now we do it on behalf of the college and sowing into the community.
So having a look at that, I mean, there must be a success story or two that you can share in terms of the entrepreneurship development programs that's running. Is there one that you could share with us?
A couple. All right, let's hear. So, for instance, now Candice is one of our alumni. She studied at our Protea campus, clothing production design. And in 2022, we connected through a mutual, a colleague of mine, because I was doing some contract lecturing at Northlink, and she told me about Candice, and we then started the journey of mentoring. She, in the meantime, registered a business. The business is going strong. She's employing, some of our interns in her business, so she's helping them to become qualified as well. I've done a business plan for an external customer. Craig Jenniker, he bought a PG franchise, did a business plan for him, and he then received funding approval for that, and he's going strong. He's employing one of our interns, and he's even contributed prize monies to last year's competition. So it's a way to then assist and then get them to sow back. Ciso Electrical, Ciso Lila, he was one of our regional winners in the Alan Gray Makers competition last year. Saw him last month, and in the meantime, he's now bought himself a vehicle, looked at his clothing, branding that he's wearing, and every weekend he's busy. He's still busy with his internship, but he's booked full every weekend, building his business up. So there's a variety of such stories that, and it's growing. It's growing.
Yeah. Obviously, in your experience, in the center, obviously, and with entrepreneurs face a lot of challenges. It's obviously extremely overwhelming when you just start your business as well, or you're just an entrepreneur and you actually want to put on the entrepreneur hat. There's a lot of challenges. You've obviously picked up as a common trait within these challenges when entrepreneurs come to you. You have the center basically able to assist them. What is the common problem that you find?
Sure. There's so many. There's so many, but I think the one thing that is a big reality is examples from their immediate environment. An immediate environment, I mean family members, people close to them that are entrepreneurs that started businesses, and that they see them as a role model. I think that is a big thing in our communities. They know of people with businesses, but not a direct link. Yes. And that creates that uncertainty and fear. So what if? And it becomes an easier option to say, but I'd rather complete my CV and hand it in and hope somebody else will give me a job. But self-employment is as much a choice as filling in your CV. And with skills, it is a reality that can become true. Then there's the thing of, I need a lot of money. That's the first thing that comes. You say, but I need the car. Money. I need a lot of money to be able to start a business, and that's not true. That's not true. And it's one of those things that we need to be able to tell people and say, but listen, bootstrapping is a very good thing, is to do what you can with what you have where you are. And that is part of the entrepreneurial mindset, is not to then say, if I have R1 million, I can be successful. It's not how it works. It's to build it from the ground up. But it's to stay motivated to do that. And just get your first customer. Yeah. Just if you have that first customer and you taste that, then you can go for the next customer. And you are going to make a myriad of mistakes. And one of the things is, failure is my friend. Because through the failure of falling forward, and I had a wise man telling me a while back and say, if you fall forward, when you get up there, you're closer to your target. And it's to help people, because we're in a structure of education. It is difficult because everything is measured with a red pen. You pass or you fail. Fail is bad and pass is good. But in entrepreneurship, failing is not necessarily a bad thing. It is that lessons that you've learned of how not to do something is just as valuable as knowing how to do something.
So true.
Because I was going to ask you, I mean, like, in difficult situations, how do you stay motivated? And I love what you have just said. I mean, how much pivot, you have to employ. But I want to move back to something you mentioned earlier. You mentioned Alan Gray Makers, and. Does the center now collaborate with other organizations, whether locally or wherever they find themselves? And especially when it comes to supporting entrepreneurship. But also I want to know, this Allen Gray Makers Competition, what is that all about?
Okay, so yeah, so the Allen Gray Makers, as part of the Allen and Jill Gray Philanthropies, they became involved in the education sector from high school and universities, and then they also included the colleges. So since 2022, they have the national competition. They call it the Allen Gray Makers Inter-College Competition. So the colleges then compete against one another, and the whole purpose behind it is to promote entrepreneurship, especially within the technical space, because the people have skills. That is the beauty of being in a TVET college. You get skills, and those skills are valuable, and it's how to make it work for you. So the competition then is a good way of just accelerate this entrepreneurial culture. It happens annually, and what they do is then people can enter and through the process. So the nice thing is we were able this year to have rounds at each campus. Students, we had 72 entries. We invited everybody and say, come and pitch your business for 3 minutes. Then we selected a group from that, which was 26, invited them to the college competition. And from there, we've got now 5. And collaboration works like this. Now, those 5 people need to be prepared and need to be assisted towards the regional competition. So from this year, I've asked CEDA, the Small Enterprise Development Agency, to assist me in that process. They've appointed a business coach for them.
Oh, wow.
I've actually met with him yesterday, and he will now walk a journey with them.
Oh, wow.
Next week, Friday, we will have a boot camp, and he will have a 2-hour group session with them. I have another guest speaker there that will speak to them. Student support is there to give them the emotional support as part of their preparation when we go to regionals. And so CEDA is an important cog in that wheel, because an ecosystem is needed to help entrepreneurs. Now that's why I have to have this paper, because I've got a list of people. Now the STEPS program, for instance, is one of those things that we need funding for to implement in the near future. UWC, I did training through them for the STEPS program, but it was written by Leuphana University in Germany.
Oh, wow.
So there's a link on that level. So you've got CEDA, NYDA, the National Business Initiative, NBI. We've got an MOU with them as a college, and they are assisting us to help us develop this Entrepreneurial Learning Institute as such on various levels. So that is a very important partner in the whole process. We've got IBASA, DigiBiz, it's an organization. They have a lot of training for students. So when I get something from DigiBiz, I put it on the WhatsApp group and say, guys, here's an opportunity. There's actually a workshop today. Some of our students registered. So we're creating this ecosystem and say, there's much more than what we can do, but we are a good door to walk through that can give you access. Cape Chamber of Commerce. I've met one of the speakers I met through the Cape Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, wow.
One of the guys that actually sponsored a photo shoot as a prize in the competition met through the Cape Chamber of Commerce. WECPOF, Western Cape Business Opportunities Forum. So the 3 winners, they are now members for a year at WECPOF, so that they plug into a network and they get support there. So there's UWC, there's CPUT, there's CETAS, SACWA. There's a host of organizations that one needs to tap into so that you can make entrepreneurship cool within the college.
Yeah, and obviously when you look at that, partnerships, people that your organizations, institutions that you can collaborate with, it does give you the opportunity to leverage the partnerships in order to assist the effectiveness of these programs.
Yeah. No, for sure. One of the things that I was very, or made aware of and became very aware of is that, who is it about? So if my student that's now going to regionals is doing well, can I now say, look what my student did? Or was it actually the CEDA consultant that added that value? So that we keep the focus on the student entrepreneur, make sure that they become successful and that it doesn't become an I thing. Society requires more businesses to be established so that we can survive economically as a broader community.
Yeah. And I just want to go back to this because I asked you this earlier in terms of pivoting. But I mean, obviously, you've got to stay informed about developments, about best practices, especially when it comes to this entrepreneurial space, and especially in line with the education and the support that is offered. And it's a huge ecosystem that is needed, as you alluded to, that actually you need for entrepreneurship to thrive.
Yeah, no, for sure. Even though, you know, the government as such, they need to be part of that as well. So we're part of discussions with Western Cape government and DDAT. They've got a CETA and a colleges forum that we have regular meetings in and then learn from one another and see what's going on in our communal spaces as such with regards to entrepreneurship and be made aware of opportunities that is available to them.
You know what, you've really covered. I want to be an entrepreneur now. Just join the program. That is what I'm thinking. But let me move on with this because, and thank you so much for your insights. But I want to ask you, what advice would you give to someone who's looking to start their own business, but especially a student who is now thinking, looking at this, and a prospective student who's going, you know what, I want to go to Northlink. And I've heard this wonderful Mr. Nico Zili say these things. What advice would you give to them?
I think it's critically important for each individual to look within. Because you can jump towards opportunities because there's potential money there. But each of us have value. And we are useful to other people. So you need to find that. So you need to find your usefulness. And then from that point, you need to develop this overarching goal of what you want to achieve. And at the end of the day, entrepreneurs are problem solvers.
Oh, yeah.
That is the bottom line of it. And we look at problems as something negative, and we will see later, you know, it's not necessarily something negative that needs a solution, but it's a problem can be anything. And if you can spot that problem, and you can then start to work on the solution for that problem, it becomes a reality. For instance, one of the judges this year studied engineering, but he saw an opportunity, so he spot something in the clothing industry, and he opened a clothing business because he saw something. There's an opportunity there, and because there's a gap, and that gap was the problem. And it's to look around you and to say, what are the problems that I see? What are the solutions I can offer to that problem? And not to think that you have to do it alone. Sometimes you need to work with somebody else. Got two people that we are starting the journey with. Collaboratively, they're going to work on starting a business that they've actually met in class. And they are becoming partners. So it's really, that is the bottom line. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. You find the problem, you are somehow going to find a solution to that problem.
And then obviously you're dealing with all those entrepreneurs and they're all diverse at the end of the day. And then how do you ensure that each of them receive personalized support from you? How do you balance that?
That is probably the most difficult thing. I want to clone myself. You know, because because there's a vast market out there. We're a big college. And that is why it is when you find somebody that needs assistance, not to want to help them yourself, is to introduce them into somebody that can physically assist them. And that is the tricky part. You're not losing a client, you're just empowering somebody to go further than what you can take them. So as the center is being established, I believe that more resources will be made available for that, and we will. And this whole entrepreneurial thing will grow, and more attention will be given to it. There are other options available, you know, to create clubs or societies at each college, get more staff involved that's willing to give their time for that. So it's a growing thing, and we are evolving as we go about. But every year we're doing better.
Because I was going to ask you in terms of the long-term as well as short-term goals immediately for the center, but how do you envision the center in the next couple of years?
No, if I can have a dream come true, it would be that, barring the size of the college, if we can influence 10% of our student population to think entrepreneurial, and then that 10% and from that group, You have another 10% that you say that can help start businesses. Now, if you think 18,000 students, 1,800 can be influenced about entrepreneurship. Help 180 to become entrepreneurs. And they can become host employers to our students and then become growing businesses, permanent employees, and their contribution to the economy.
Definitely.
You know, in 5 years' time, by 2030, if that can become true, then we would have done amazingly.
Amazingly.
Now, not to tilt your hand too much, but are there any exciting things coming in the future?
Well, we have the regional competition coming up.
Yeah.
We've got 5 stars that we're sending there, and I gave the other colleges a message last week and say, if you want to win, you'll have to beat us.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. In this, and let me ask you this as my final question, is there space for potential investors within this?
Definitely. The main thing is that this is a problem in society. Unemployment amongst the youth is a problem in society as a whole. And caring corporate, this is a vehicle for them to start sowing into so that we can offer more programs in helping students help themselves. In other words, practical training that they can learn how to do business, getting involved in those future incubation facilities that we're going to set up, and that they can play their part from industry as well, so that we stay cutting edge with what happens within that industry. So definitely, private-public partnerships is a definite yes. And you know, from executive management side, that message is very clear. We are open for that discussion.
Here we go.
And it's easy enough to make contact. It is easy enough to make contact. I'm questioned out. I'm looking to you.
I'm thinking more, how can investors, how can students, how do they get hold of you? How do they get in touch with you?
Okay, from a student point of view, they can, at their campus, student support, SRC, so they have that representation. They just need to make it known to them, and they will make sure that they get in contact with me. From the public side, they can go onto email me at nico.zeli, and I'm sure it will be on the screen at northlink.co.za, and and my cell phone number is there as well.
Perfect.
So they're more than welcome.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Nico, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us and sharing these insights, and definitely whetting the appetite and increasing the appetite, I should be saying, for this. And we wish you everything of the best with the Entrepreneurship Advancement Center. And thank you very much for wonderful contribution, but definitely sharing insights. It was really wonderful to hear. So thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. And I watch the show regularly. It's really fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
And people should watch it more.
There we go.
But before we let you go, because where we are, normally we visit campuses.
Yes, that's so true.
So now today we're not. And you know the person who's behind all of this.
I do.
Please divulge.
Okay, so you're going to introduce Priska soon. But Priska is an alumni, and I was made aware of her existence through her campus, and we invited her to be one of the judges in the 2022 internal round of the Allen Gray Makers competition.
Wow. Okay.
And that's how we met her. And and she's been a provider to the family as well with some products.
Fantastic products. Fantastic products. Looking forward to chat to her. Nico, thank you so much again for joining us. We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Appreciate
so much.
it.
And that is Nico Zeli, everybody, who is a personal business advisor, also with the Entrepreneurship Advancement Center. And of course, as you heard, this is really, Rhoda.
Oh, I'm telling you.
This is the extra that you need, because you heard it there from Mr. Zeli. The first thing that happens is, in terms you get the skill, you acquire skill, which is a huge commodity, and of course it allows you for that gap. And makes entrepreneurship a viable option for you, a really viable option for you.
And you know what actually excites me, Dougal, is we find ourselves at all the campuses. I mean, you here is coming from a banking experience, and I mean, all that years of experience is being brought into Northlink.
Practical knowledge.
Practical knowledge that's being exposed, and you're being told upfront exactly what it's all about. So it's not somebody that's never had the experience. this is about Northlink and, you know, the staff that's basically being employed as well. And their advice, their knowledge, you know what? You can only go to Northlink, guys. If you really want to experience this, go to Northlink.
But you got to put it to the test, and
Most
that moment is
definitely.
here. That moment is here. So, as Nico alluded to, of course, somebody that he was introduced to, that was a judge, of course, and this brings us now to where we find ourselves. So, normally we would broadcast from a campus, but today we are at Cuba and Couture. That is where we find us ourselves, and of course, joining us right now is Priska Kloot, who is right here. Hello. How are you?
Good, and you?
Lovely.
Lovely, absolutely. You are a former Protea campus production, clothing and production student, so you are an alumni.
Yes, that's correct.
And we're sitting in the heart of your business.
Yes.
Oh my word, it's so exciting.
Very happy to have you guys here.
It is absolutely brilliant. Firstly, we're going to talk about the products and what is happening and just really everything. But it is really brilliant because here you are. Prospective students are looking at this right now. Quickly, before we get underway, where are you from? How did this journey begin? Where were you born?
So this is a very long story, but we'll cut it short. So the very short story is at the age of 11, my mother moved to Cape Town. So our family moved to Cape Town from Congo. So our company is called Coupe Couture because we speak French as well. So it means cutting and sewing. And when we moved here, I actually went to school in Woodstock, like primary school, Mountain Road. Then I went to Queen's Park High. And after that, I went to Northlink College, but I'll get to the actual story as to how I came to, you know, get to go to Northlink College. And the way that I got there is after my matric year, I took a gap year, and during that gap year, I was able to actually spend time to like practice how to make stuff. My first interest was actually knitting, and I started knitting scarves, and then I actually learned about the loom. How to use a loom and you make a beanie. And with all of these products, I actually had people around me who were like, how can we actually buy some of these things? Like, you know, family, friends. Exactly. And then after that, I actually learned, this is through YouTube. Yeah. And then this thing about YouTube is when you actually click how to knit, they always give you like examples of like, maybe you should learn how to sew. So then I started learning how to sew bags after that. My husband actually bought me a sewing machine. So then I started learning how to make bags, and then I had clients from that as well. Yeah. And then I thought, how about learning how to make clothes, since everything's just working out well with these lessons on YouTube. So then I actually went and learned how to make skirts. There were actually videos that said, how to make a skirt in 5 minutes. I'm like, I want to learn how to make the skirt in 5 minutes. And I went there like online, and then it's like a huge world that opens up to you. You go to fabric shops and you buy fabrics. And
exciting.
And then I actually hit the block where I had to learn how to make patterns, because you can only make 5-minute skirts for this for so long. So then I wanted to learn how to make jackets and all sorts of things, and I just thought it's time to go to school now, like back to college. And a lady that went to Northlink College said, you must study clothing production.
So,
Before you go further in that, let me just tell you all right now, if you're looking at this, where Rhoda and myself are sitting. So between Rhoda and myself, and Priska, we're going to get to it now, because you walk in here and there's all these amazing products just behind us here as well.
Especially that one in the back.
And smack bang between the two of us. So if I turn like this, you would be able to see this is just one.
That's one of them.
Sewing machines, and when I hear Priska talking about all the skills she learned and everything else that you had to do, this is fantastic, because we're going to ask you, like, firstly, what would have inspired you to have studied clothing and production? But wow,
it's been a journey.
It's been a journey, but there you are. Yeah. So let's get straight into it. You've gone through it. You did all of this. Can you share any significant experience or projects from your college days that have influenced your career path, that has led you to this moment?
So the good thing about the Northlink course, the clothing production, is it's broken down into 4 semesters. So the first semester is introduction to sewing. So you get a full introduction on what it is that you're about to get into. Then you have the children wear, and then you have all sorts of like evening wear. But there's something that stood out to me was tailoring. So tailoring is very structured, where you learn how to make a tailored jacket, tailored pants for men. So that course is actually very similar to bag making, like you'll be surprised. Because the thing about making a men's jacket, like a tailored suit, is everything is done on the inside, all the stitching and everything. And you leave a small opening and you turn everything inside out and then you finish that off. And that's exactly how we make these bags. So you make everything on the inside and then you turn everything. So the thought is the same and the structure. And one thing that I really loved about Northlink was pattern making. We had a lecturer, Miss Engelbrecht, and she was amazing. She was tough. She was tough, but she was amazing. And that course, you actually still use it now. As you can see, we have patterns here in the studio. And that's because of that course that I learned there. There is a lot. I'm just thinking of There's also factory organization, which we still use now, which I learned at Northlink. As you can see on that table, there we have a lot of folders. And you can't make those folders in the time that you expected to make it if you don't know about factory organization. So, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And obviously, finding yourself in Northlink and preparing yourself to own your own business. And you then went into Bespoke Leather Company. So where did this all come from? How did that idea?
So when I finished the course at Northlink at the end of that year, my husband and I sat down and we were like, what are we going to do? Because Northlink does actually, at the end of the year, they actually find out what would you like to do. Do you want to get an internship? And if they have any contacts with other companies, they'll try and slot you in there. So I was in between, like, do I want an internship or to start something? So I did apply at some companies where I wanted to intern, but at the same time, we already registered our business when I was still at Northlink, because of our EBM teacher who said you don't have to register your business when you start. You can do it now, and when you're ready, you can start to trade. So then one of the people that we applied to for internship, they actually called me and said I should come through, and I went there. It's Adrian Henneke. He has a brand called Billy now. And the only problem is I didn't have a driver's license at that time. So then he said, sorry, that's too bad, because I will need you to be driving around to factories and things like that. So then he said, but what else do you do? So I told him I can make bags. And here is this is our first spec sheet. So I didn't get the job, but I got an order. I received an order to be able to make bags, and that's the spec sheet of how, like, you know, this bag, that's the outside, that's the lining, and that's how he wanted the things to, so that's his company name there, Billy. And yeah, so I made those bags for him, and this order here was actually an encouragement to my husband to say there's something here and let us actually focus, narrow down into bag making. We can't be everywhere, evening wear, tailoring. So then we actually focused on one thing and we do bespoke bags and accessories. So you'll be able to see them on our website. And this would be an example of accessories. This is a men's wallet, like that. And what people like to do is even put their name. This is something we actually made for Nico. He's one of our clients.
Nico, that's your one.
And you can see his name there, so that's an example. I'll show other bespoke things later on, but that's just the first few.
Sure.
Beautiful.
So the business has evolved quite a bit since its inception.
Yes, and you would actually not believe it, because when we started out, I was actually not into leather yet. I thought it would be like shwe, as you can see the shwe prints there, with maybe a leather strap, because I was not comfortable with using leather yet, because it's quite sturdy. And over the years, you actually get used to it, and the clients actually lead you into the direction that you need to be. And we now mainly with leather and a touch of shwe.
And I just wanted to ask you, because obviously students looking at you now and they're also wanting to do this, the challenges you face from coming from a student into a business owner. What was the challenges you faced?
So I think it's good to be very realistic when it comes to starting a business. So you definitely need a capital. So this business, I didn't start it on my own. We're running it together with my husband. So he's kept his job also.
Okay, you see.
So yes, he kept his job while we're trying to build this business together. So we're able to use his income as a startup, and then we bought some machines. The mistake we made at the beginning was to actually start with second-hand industrial machines. If you're lucky, you can land on a good one, but we're not that lucky at the beginning. We we received the machine which had missing parts, so I found myself late at night, using my hand because it's not working properly. So at the end, we made the decision, once we could see the business is growing, to use some of the funds to buy new machines. And you can actually see the work goes faster and things just start to grow. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Now, obviously, because as we all know, and we heard earlier from Nico as well, like entrepreneurs are problem solvers. You yourself said, the customers or the market will determine where you will go. So, in terms of this and being operating as making bespoke products, how do you stay updated with trends, techniques, all of this, especially with leather production? You living on that edge, where you just updated off all the time?
So the thing about leather products, though, it's quite a classic thing to be doing a leather product. Like the backpack behind us there. That's actually a backpack that you can actually find if you go back into the 1990s. You'll find the solid drawstring backpack with a flap. So people who are into leather goods, they want something that is classic. So we don't actually run after the latest thing. We actually want to be able to make solid pieces that people are able to use from year to year. So if you're running after trends, no, we're not.
We're not there.
No.
And I must say, these are sturdy bags. And I've seen some of the wallets as well. It's not this, it's a leather,
it's not
guys.
plastic.
It's not plastic. And what they call it, it's called leather, am I correct?
Not leather, it's solid.
It's leather. So you know what, and it's very sturdy and really, really good quality. I must tell you, I'm really impressed.
Yes.
So there's so many questions that I want to ask you, because like Rhoda says, everything just looks, and it really does.
Amazing.
Some of those bags and I want you to show one of the one there, that one. I like the detail work.
I love it.
Thank you.
Flowers.
Okay.
Wow.
So this is a little bag like this, and these flowers here are actually laser cut. So we have a laser machine, which is over there. So then you actually laser cut some of these flower details, and you use a riveting machine to put them down. But there's actually another bag I would like to show you, which has more of a story. It's this bag. So this bag here is made for a lady called Chantal. She's in Johannesburg. So she's been following us for quite a long time, and she said that she can see that we use weaving. So I actually personally did the weaving of this myself, like doing the weaving, the back and the front. So she saw this bag with the weaving on it, and she's seen another bag with the scallops. So she sent the sketch asking, can you please make a bag that has the woven front, woven back, and then the scallop detail as well. So this is where the bespoke comes in. You're not going to find this bag in Woolworths.
There we go. There we go.
Not going to find it anyway.
You're not going to find it. You might, because nothing's new under the sun. But the idea that someone in Johannesburg can see things on our Facebook and say, I would like this and this to be done, and she'll receive this on Monday in Johannesburg. So,
What's her name again?
Chantal, the
Chantal,
client.
I've touched your bag.
So that's the cool thing, and it's a zip closure, and every detail we discussed, and that's a good thing about bespoke products. You can actually tell someone, I want this, I want that.
Now, as obviously, do you have to, do you test the durability, the quality? Do you put it through a process once you've made the product?
Yes, so the thing is, we actually use very trusted companies when it comes to leather. The materials that we use, we make sure that it's trusted leather companies. So we use Northlink. They're very good at leather. They've been around for a long time. So you can actually trust that the material will last. And then we have a process that before even making bags, we make mock-ups to test will it actually work. And mock-ups, it's not something that I just thought of out of the blue. It's actually a process you learn at Northlink College. Before every garment, you must make a mock-up to actually make sure that you're ready to do the final bag. And when we send bags, we hardly get returns because you've made sure that you've done the job.
I'm gonna say no returns.
Hardly, yeah.
Definitely,
Yes.
definitely.
I'm sure you got a lot of things to share. I could talk to you for
Yes.
hours. But do you have a memorable period or a piece that you created for somebody that has sort of stood out? And I mean, obviously you said people see your stuff online.
Yes.
Where else have some of your products been featured?
Anyway, something that's memorable, but in terms of an order, that would be when we had our very first biggest order that was with Into Food. It's a company here in South Africa, but they have a branch everywhere in South Africa. And the ladies that worked there actually contacted us and said they would like to order 5,500 bags for their Women's Day event. And you can imagine the shock. Yes, 5,500 bags.
Oh, wow.
And they needed it in a month. Yeah, so then from that, like when we got the news, you start calling people, we need help. And we actually contacted Mrs. Bell at Northlink, and she put us in contact with the two ladies. And we knew a few people, and it was time to get to work. We worked long hours. And that's the thing about entrepreneurship. When you take on a job like that, you have to deliver, and that was late night. We worked around the clock, and we made it. We delivered on time. I think they gave us a few days extra, but they were very happy with the product. And the thing is, we never received any of them back to say the zip has a problem.
Wow.
My husband was on the final check there before it leaves. Yes, so it went.
Was there any celebrities there that you might have made a bag
We did a very small collaboration with Alfred Adrian. He's actually a comedian here in South Africa, and he does shows all over the country and in other places as well. So we did a collaboration with him where we managed to sell a number of bags. And we like to do collaborations with influencers as well, like local influencers, just to get the word out there. And the thing is, you don't reach to a place where you know that you need to work with these influencers on your own. So the thing that happened is after Northlink College, and when you leave, the thing about, there's so much to talk about, but when you look at the entrepreneurship lesson at Northlink, they actually don't give you the reality of, like when you actually leave, what is the reality of selling? Because you get everything that's construction, and I guess you can learn a lot from Nico, but when it came to the Northlink College course, the focus is mainly on construction. So you have to actually learn a lot, like how to sell. So then I actually went online and you basically type how to sell. How do I sell? Because you're not sure. How can I actually sell this product? So then I came across a man called Gary Vaynerchuk. So his videos, his language can be a bit hectic if you do go and Google him. But he's very good at telling you how to use social media to sell items. So these are the books that we bought from him, telling you it's all about the long-term game. It's about building that brand slowly. You shouldn't be only focused on pushing sales down people's throats. You make them run away. So it's all about sharing your journey, and people get very invested. They want to see your growth. And even that Into Food job that we got, it was actually a Facebook friend lady. We've been friends for a very long time.
Look at that.
Online, and she bought the wallet from us for her husband and came back years later like, we need 5,500 bags. So we didn't like push her, we need this or we need that. Suddenly, after putting in the work, then someone comes in and say they need this to be done. So.
Lovely.
Wow. What advice would you give to current students studying now clothing production? Who's probably thinking, I want to do exactly what I want to start a business.
Yes. So what I would say is if you finish at Northlink clothing production, you definitely have all the skills to make the garments because they're very good at, giving you all of those skills. And then the reality is for you to run a business, you need to have those funds to keep the business going. And when you're starting it from the ground up, you definitely, no one knows you, so you're building it from scratch. So you have to consider all your options. So I was ready to take an internship at the beginning, but ended up with an order instead. And we, and then my husband's like, we're going in this direction of starting this business. And then we started the business and he kept his job. That means he was able to, fund it as we're trying to build it. And we didn't jump straight into our own studio. We were actually across the road from here years ago. And we started out sharing a studio space with someone else. And then after that, we're able to move in a smaller studio. And then we find ourselves here today.
Sure.
So if you can actually have a job on the side while you're building, that also helps a lot.
So when you hear a conversation like we had earlier with Nico about the Entrepreneurship Advancement Center, I mean that you must, when you hear that, you must go, oh, well done.
Yes, that's a good thing.
It is like a
it's
proper,
a good thing.
proper
Yes,
good thing.
yes. And something, I'm sure people actually benefit from places like that because when we started, we didn't know how to price things properly. And we didn't know about the Entrepreneurship Advancement Center either. And we're lucky to go to CEDA. Nico mentioned CEDA as well. So it's a business, like it helps businesses as well. And when we sat down with a lady there, she said, when you make a product, it's not about only charging for the fabric and for the, what is this, labor. You must put in the, like, the building you work from.
Exactly.
The light you use. Everything must be accounted for so that you can see that profit, or else you'll always see a loss.
And you won't be successful.
But you learn from the loss as well. So if you don't price properly, you make a loss and you learn from that, and then the next job will be better. So.
Oh, wow.
So looking back, is there anything you would have done differently? I mean, you look so happy, so it's tough. It's difficult to think that you would say that.
I think the thing that we would have done differently, I think we've mentioned it before. Oh, I didn't mention the laser.
Oh, mention the
laser machine. So we used to, so the laser machine, for those who don't know, is the machine that we used to write things on here, on items, and we used to also, for a bag like this. Sorry. A bag like this, an Africa-shaped bag, you can't cut this bag by hand. You need the laser machine for that precision.
I see it on the screen right now.
You need the laser machine for the precision, and before we had the laser machine, I used to wonder, how do people cut things so precise? I was like, maybe one day I'll get there where I can cut things, but I didn't know they had a laser machine. But then when we found out about laser engraving machines, we actually used to drive every week to a company called Two Blue to get people's engraving done. So we used to take trips every week to a company.
Extra expense?
Yes, that's a lot. So you're on the road and you're paying. So my husband and I sat down and said, it's time to get our own one. So we got one. So it's a smaller kind of machine, but it's doing the job. And it's something that we would have done differently is get it earlier. Than, like, not wait.
Here we go.
But you got it now.
Yes.
So and it's pretty beautiful and it's cutting.
Yes, yes. And that's the thing about bespoke work. The thing that makes us different is putting that personalization on every item, like the name, the message, and all sorts of
the one thing that really stands out when you walk in here, and I must tell you this, you really feel that you walk into a place where quality craftsmanship
most
is being
definitely.
celebrated.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
it really looks like it.
that's
It feels that way, and hearing you talk about it, and also listening to your story, like, you know, it was a process. You know, to get to number 5, you first had to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Hearing your story, going through the motions, reflecting on all the things that you've acquired at your time at Northlink, and now looking at this. When you look back at it, it really started for you at Northlink.
Yes.
So there are learners there now, educators, parents going, this is quite a viable option. This is quite a viable option.
Yes.
And I mean, you would definitely recommend Northlink.
Definitely. I always tell people you must go to Northlink.
There we go.
Especially if you want to sew, that is definitely the place to be. And it's squashed down into 2 years. I think when you're there, you're actually like, this is a 4-year course. Because of the pressure that's put down to deliver. I think when you're there as a student, you're like, oh my word, this is like a lot. But the thing is, they're actually preparing you for reality.
Really
because in
so.
real life, that job, the into food job, they wanted it in a month. If you're not used to pressure, then you're like going to crumble.
Exactly.
But it feels like we were prepared for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm glad. And how do people get in touch with you?
And how do they get your products?
Yes, how do they get your products as well?
So from the beginning, we decided that this company is going to be an online shop.
Okay.
So so you can find us. We have a website. We use as a platform to be able to sell from, and we have our Facebook and we have our Instagram as well. So.
And people just search for Coop and Couture.
Yes, the website's on the screen there.
Excellent.
And then that's where
Yes.
they go, and
They
then
can
they'll
get
be
hold of
able
you.
to see all the wonderful things you've made.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
Thank you.
Exciting times.
Really
exciting
exciting.
times.
Thank
Listen,
you.
thank you so much. Any
Thank you
final
so
thoughts
much.
from you?
Well, it's been a very long journey,
Oh.
but it also feels quick. The main thing is you have to enjoy what you're doing. When you choose what you really like and you have like a huge order and you have to sleep very late. We have actually had an order at the very beginning before we had workers or a worker at times where we worked until we heard the birds chirping in the morning.
Wow.
So if you don't love what you're doing, you're not going to stay there for that long.
So true.
It's all about building that brand slowly, and you know, that's
So
the
good.
And just going through it.
yes.
Priska, thank you so
Thank
much.
you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much for having you. We wish you, we
Oh,
use your
yeah.
business,
Thank
all
you.
the best of success. And
Thank
really
you.
thank you very much for sharing your journey and
It's a
your story, and
pleasure.
of course, everything that you've shared with us. Thank
It's
you
a
so much.
pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. We wish you just honestly
Thank
the
you.
absolute best.
Thank
we
you
really
so
do.
much.
We really
Thank you.
do.
I appreciate you guys coming. Keep
It's a
well.
pleasure.
Will do.
Thank you for allowing us in your premises,
Yeah.
in your
No
workspace.
problem. No problem.
I might leave certain people behind. That's it.
Thank you so
I
much.
was going to say, just watch his bag behind us. This one is eyeing it.
No problem.
You
Keep
gotta,
well.
you gotta love it. You gotta love it. I promise you, if ever you were looking at bespoke bags, you look no further than Cooper Tour. Alumni from Northlink, of course, a budding entrepreneur, but more importantly, the craft that is being created here is truly extraordinary, and it allows you to really get that bespoke item for any sort of special event. Just think about it. It is really going to be a piece that's going to stand the test of time, that is really quality craftsmanship that you can look forward to. And you heard from the person who created this. I mean, she's having a lot of fun doing this. But more importantly, this could be you.
This could be you.
As a prospective Northlink student, you could be here also, and we could be broadcasting from your very successful business, which is what it's all about. So, very simple. You know what you need to do.
Yes.
You get in touch with Northlink College. Of course, all the details would be on the screen. The Entrepreneurship Advancement Center there,
as well.
it is in motion, it is running, as you heard. The building is being constructed, and soon there will be the actual house forward road.
Yes.
So that's where people would be able to go.
That's where they'll be able to go. And it excites me because you know what? It is extremely stressful when you're starting your own business that you need this advice. And you know what? You don't always like have that family member you can speak to, but you know what? You can basically go through to the center and you'll be able to be assisted. I mean, how much more do you need from Northlink?
Yeah.
There's a message.
So Geneva Ben says all the best with your business, dear. Just wishing Priscilla all the best. And I tell you what an inspirational story. What a really inspirational story. And I must say, just going back to what Prisca was saying, it is really just. She kept saying, "Oh, at Northlink we did this, and this I learned this," and these tangible moments that she's used in this business.
In the business
using
itself,
it right now.
all of that. You know what? This hasn't gone to waste. Many a times you actually hear people say, "I would just study this," but when I get into the real world, that's not what we're practicing. And you know what? She's been using everything she's been taught at Northlink College in her own business. I mean, how much more?
And the one thing I didn't,
is that?
you know what I mean? Like I wanted to ask her, I actually forgot to ask her, like, did she ever see herself like doing a business? Which she didn't, but she kind of answered it. She said she was making things, and then her friends and family would say, "Can we buy?" So she also stumbled in and saw that gap opportunity, which Nico referred to.
There we go.
You know, and try to solve the problem, and look at it now. Look at it now.
Look at it now.
I touched Sylvia's bag. Is it Sylvia? I can't remember. I touched her bag.
It touched the white bag, I remember.
That's the white bag. So there you have it. That is it. So what you got to do is, of course, for everything you need to know, you simply go to Northlink's website, which is super easy. As of course, get all the details there. I promise you, as a Northlink student, the Entrepreneurship Advancement Center is there that will further equip you with the skills, of course, to turn into your business. And I want you to think about that. Your skill that you will acquire, it is going to be your business. Think about it. That is what you've got to do.
Definitely. And don't forget to watch the show every Thursday, end of the month.
Yeah.
And watch for the next show. Our next show will be,
25 July.
Is it 27th July?
27th July.
That's it. 27th
Last
July.
Thursday.
Last Thursday of the month. I think the leader is getting to Google here.
I thought the 25th. Yeah.
27th.
Okay. All right. So, final Thursday of July. Let's agree on that.
Let's agree
final
on that.
Thursday of July, and we will see you. But most importantly, of course, for all the details that you need in terms of how to apply courses that Northlink offers, and especially all the Northlink info, please visit the Northlink website, and you'll find everything there that you need in terms of required documents, the criteria, and everything else. But the one thing that you can certainly rest assured is the skills that you acquire at Northlink, and now, with, of course, with the Entrepreneur Advancement Center, will really fine-tune that skills and give you that extra boost that you need to, of course, to be a budding entrepreneur and eventually your future in your hands. Most importantly, thank you very much for watching, and do remember to subscribe and, of course, share the show far and wide, and talk to prospective students, talk to educators, talk to moms and dads and parents, and definitely get the conversation going. To our wonderful guests that was on today, so to Nico Zili, thank you very much for the insights. Of course, to Prisca Kloot as well, and the wonderful home we've had for today here at the tour, which is absolutely just a wonderful business, and you definitely got to go check it out. There's definitely some future clients here that we can assure you of. It has been absolutely wonderful. That's it,
That's it, Google. See you next month.
Thanks for watching. Until next time, thanks for watching The Link Show. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.